In today's episode, we are going to animate. We're going to animate this little fella to walk, just like we've done here. We're going to give him a jump animation. We're going to make him wobble if he stands on the side of a platform. We're going to give him fall damage. So if he falls from a great height, he gets hurt. Just like this. No, that wasn't. Ah, no, I got shot. Anyway, you get the idea. That's what we're going to do today. Let's get started. Hello, welcome back. We are almost finished with level 1. What we're going to do today is create some player animations. We're going to go in, we're going to animate the player's walking cycle. We're going to do a wobble animation. So what I want to happen is if I push the play button, when it loads, load. What I want to happen is when I get to the edge of a platform, I want him to initiate a kind of wobble as if he's about to fall off. I think that's quite a nice little feature. So if we got right to the edge there, it will play that animation rather than the idle animation or the run animation. I think that would look quite nice. So we're going to animate that. We're going to code that in using collision boxes. So double click on the player. Now we've had this blue square for quite long enough. It's time to make something a little more pleasing to the eye. So let's get rid of that square. I always like to start with black to give me an idea of the outline and the shape of the sprite. So let's draw an idle pose. So just follow along, or if you want to, if you're feeling creative, just go ahead and create your own. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to go ahead and draw something that's kind of pleasing to me, to the eye. I mean, nothing too crazy, just a basic kind of square fella. It's really just a kind of head on legs at this point. And then some hands there. Right, let's go and give him a skin tone. Let's make him yellow like the Simpsons. I like it already. And let's give him some red hair, because, you know, why not? Yeah, I like it. Now we're going to give him a nice big wide smile. And then what we like to do on the smiles is get black and just put a dot in each corner. It looks like he's kind of grinning with all of his teeth, which looks quite nice. And then for the eyes, let's do 2 down, just above the black lines there. Should we do a nose? Yeah, we leave it in for now. We'll see how that goes. Right, now we need to do some shading. So grab the yellow color. Let's just drop it back a tad. I'm going to shade the bottom here, probably all the way along, and down one side. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm going to shade the bottom of the hands and the bottom of the chin, or the bottom of the face here, as if the light's coming down from the top. I'm going to shade under his nose. Or does that make him look a bit suspicious? No, I don't like that. Get the white, and we're going to do a white dot at the top. So like his pupils are at the bottom, and then the whites of his eyes. It's going to be a little bit darker underneath the hair, where the hair overlaps the face. So we can put a little bit in there, probably there, probably along the top there as well. And then what I might try is I might remove that top black line from there. Just go down to there, and then just use a bit of darker red, perhaps, as the outline. yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to make it too complicated because we've got to animate it as well. So this first animation here is going to be the idle animation. Really easy way to idle is just a breathing animation. So I'm going to go ahead and click and select everything. I'm going to leave his hands there, but I'm going to go down. In fact, let's move the hands down first. Drop the hands down to there, and then I'm going to drop the rest of him down one. So there, he's just kind of bobbing up and down, waiting. Let's make sure that that's looping. It's a bit fast. Set the speed to 2. Yeah, that looks okay to me. Right click and duplicate the animation. This animation is going to be the walking. We only need one walking cycle because we can flip the character based on whether we're moving left and right, so that's not going to be an issue. So with the walking animation selected, just select frame 1, delete it, and then we need to turn him on his side. So obviously if he's facing to one side, which will be this way, the right side, we don't need his feet poking out to the left. So I can select the black there, and I'll probably put that back like a little heel. When he's not going to have his hand over here, we can just delete that, we can draw that back in. And then his hair is going to be different. So his hair is going to be right around the back like this, but not so much around the front. I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab that darker red, and I'm going to put that right back around where the hair is. I'll put the black up to there. I'm going to do the yellow. Oh, the yellow. And I think his hair is probably going to stop there. Get rid of those. Oh, get rid of those eyes there, and the nose, and the mouth. And that hand is not needed there anymore. We can put that back in. I think I'm also going to use the selection tool. I don't think he's going to need to be as wide. So I'm going to drag him in just a bit there. Yeah, that looks okay to me. Let's continue this black line. Obviously he's going to have a bit of a nose, so we'll do that. Don't think I like that last one there, it's fine. I'm going to delete that one so his hair kind of comes down in line with the rest of his face. I'm going to get the yellow tool back again, and I'm going to do I'm going to leave it with that one there so it looks like it's jutting out a nose. And then I'm going to get the shading back, and I'm going to shade down here into his ear and then under his chin there. Now we need to do the smile, so we'll go white for that. I kind of want it on the same level, so it's kind of there. So it would be here, and then the black just on this side. And then the eye, again, I want to line it up on the same level. So I'm going to remember where that one is, and it's going to be there, and it's going to have the white there. Although the white's on top, so yeah, that's probably best. Pop it on top there. Yeah. Get the yellow. I don't like where the hair is right there above the eye. I want a bit more space. And I want to shade, like I did before, I want to put the shade under the hairline. There. Not there. There. Now we need to add the hands. So I'm going to go back to the black. So when he walks, I want his arms to swing. So what I like to do with the walk cycle is I like to have the first frame kind of in mid-walk. So otherwise, when you go to walk, it almost looks like he's sliding before he starts to walk. So that first frame needs to be a keyframe. So I want his hand to be back there. Get the yellow color. Pop it there. and then I want his front hand to be swinging out in front. There. Get the yellow colour. And then I'm going to make his legs, I think, in a mid-walk position. So I'm going to just take all this out. There. And I'm just going to redraw them in. So there, and then the back foot I'm going to have there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Colour that yellow, get the shading in along the back leg, and then in between and on the bottom there. Idling, walking. Yeah, maybe put a shade there. Yeah, that's too far in front, that hand now. It doesn't look right. I'm so particular. It doesn't need to be that far. It can simply be there. I don't like all of that block. I don't like that block of that square there. But I'm going to shade that because it's in the background. And also what I like to do is, I think I might shade the leg that's further away from us entirely so it looks, so it'll give us a better indication when we look as to which leg is which. That's quite a nice little touch. There, that's good. I'm not going to go over and over and over again. I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to right click, I'm going to duplicate it, and on this one I'm simply going to put him in the middle pose, which is the legs that I had here. So I'm going to copy those. I'm going to go back to walking. I'm going to delete, make sure I'm on frame 1. I'm going to delete all of those, and I'm going to paste in the legs there. We don't need that one. I'm going to do that. And then on this one, the hands are going to be pretty much just on top. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. So I'm going to just copy that hand. Copy. And I'm going to go back to this frame 1. I'm going to paste it in. And I'm going to paste it in there. There we go. Perfect. And I'm going to go back to frame 0. I'm going to copy, duplicate that, and I'm going to drag that in front. And then the easiest thing in the world to do here is just change the shading slightly on the legs. So I'm going to make this one the one in front now. And I'm going to make this one the one at the back. So it saves us a lot of work. But I'm also going to extend this black line up to there probably. There we go. I'll probably extend that one out to the front there. But now this hand is going to be at the back and this hand's going to be the front. So let's just delete those hands out. There. And then this hand is going to be right out the front. So this can overlap. That can overlap the front here. So I'm going to go to there and there, and then I'm going to just do that. So it looks like it's swinging it out the front, and then at the back there again, just a tiny little one to suggest his backhand is swinging backwards, and just fill that in. Nice. And then obviously the last frame is the in-between again. So I can duplicate that. But just to add a bit of variety, I'm just going to move that hand one over. Maybe, no, then it just kind of takes the place of his legs. I think I'll just keep it the same. Let me just loop that around and see what that looks like. Put it on 5, loop it. Yeah, it looks okay. We need a bit of a head bob though. His head's in the same place and his whole body's moving. So when he's squatting down here, he's taller in this position because he's got both his legs straight. When he's in this position, he's going to be lower to the ground. So we can just grab the whole head on this frame, probably there. Just drop it down 1. And then the same on this frame. We can grab the whole head, probably there. Just drop it down 1. Well, I've kind of done away with the hand there. So let's just do that. There we go. Now he's bobbing along on a walk cycle. Let's take a look. Yeah, that looks much better. It's okay. It's not the best, but it's quick. It's quick for what we need. We can start animating that now because we've got the 2 frames. We've got idle, we've got walk. They're both on a loop. We can go with the player selected. You can go down here and you can just make sure that the initial animation is set to idle, because when we start the game, we want him to be idling. If that's the term, idling away. There he is, just bobbing up and down in his environment, happy as Larry, next to his start sign. Right, now we need to code in his movement. So we can go back to event sheet 1, under player control. So if A is down, which means he's moving left, and if D is down, he's moving right, we want to play the walking animation. So you can add an action, go to sprites, you can go to player, and we can just go on the animations and set the animation. We can set this one to walk. Or walking, play it from the beginning, and then we're going to copy it and just drag it down. Exact same thing when he's on D. Now remember, when we drew the walking animation, we drew him facing to the right. So that means when we push A, he's going to be facing left. So we need to mirror him. So we need to go back in to the sprites, and we need to go to the player, and we need to go down, and we need to set mirrored. And he needs to be mirrored. But when we push D again, we need to flip him back the other way. So copy and drag that down, and then go not mirrored. So when he's pushing A, we're going to mirror him. When we push D, we're not going to mirror him. Now, if we just leave it at that, when we stop, in fact, I'll show you, when we stop pushing A and D, he's going to just stay in that walking animation. So he's fine idling now. Oh, he's way too fast. But when we let go, he doesn't know where to go. We haven't told the system what to do. And again, when we jump, we haven't got a jump animation. We'll add that in as well. So we need to make him stop if we're not moving. So the best way to do that is if I just copy this whole block and push V and Control V and paste it, we can paste it directly underneath. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Leave it to set animation, and then just change this back to idle. Play from the beginning, and then when we push, just hover over, so I click on keyboard, D is down, and push I, and that'll change it to inverted. You can also right click and invert it. So if D is not down, we're going to set it to idle, but we also need to add another condition. So you can push C, or you can right click and add another condition. And we also want to go back to the inputs and go to keyboard and say is down, and we also need to say A. And we also need to invert that. So if D is not down and A is not down, then we need to go back to idle. So now, when we walk, we play the animation, but if we stop, we just go to idle. Just like that. Nice. However, he is too fast. We need to slow the guy down a little bit. So click on him. Let's just set his maximum speed down to 80. It's going to make it even harder to avoid these. There we go. Oh god, it's going to make it so much harder to avoid these things. Great. What I also want to do while we're here is go in. I want to change the collision box, I think. I'm just going to bring it, click on it. I'm going to bring it down by 1 and in by 1. If you've got more than 4 points. Just on the top, not on the bottom, because I don't want him to fall through the ground for any point. I just want to right click in any one and apply to all animations. This gives them a little bit of leeway. It also makes it a little bit easier to dodge the bullets. So it's not going to be as harsh with the hit detection. So if a bullet just skims past this top corner here, if we had the bounding box set up here, it would count as a hit and kill us. But I want it to be able to skim through us and give the player the benefit of the doubt. in terms of getting hit. And in fact, what we can do is we can bring it down even more and give the player a little bit more leeway. You can keep that one a little bit higher, that's not an issue. And again, on this one as well, I can bring this one down and in, bring that one down and in. That's on the idle. Let me just double check the walking. Yeah, bring this one down and in, bring this one down and in, bring this one down and in, bring that one down and in. It's going to give us a little bit more room to dodge those bullets. Not a lot, but you know, it'll seem fairer. Like the last thing you want to do is get the player hit and then the player think, well, that's not fair, I didn't get hit. Yeah, we can leave that at that. And now, if you look before, we couldn't fit through that gap before, but now we can, because the bounding box is a little bit less. Okay, good, we got the walking animation, we got the idle animation. This guy looks funny. Now we need to sort out that wobble. So when he gets to the edge here, I want him to be able to just wobble. Kind of looks like a T shape. I don't know if I like the hands out there. I might bring them in a little bit. Go on to the selection tool, grab the hands. You can bring them in. Bring them into there. Yeah, and then they go out when he goes down. That's nice. I quite like that. Right, click on walking, right click, duplicate. Let's change the name to wobble. Delete the frames. Leave the one where he stood up. If you've gone too far, you can just click Control or Command Z and undo it. Right, let's leave this one here. Now we want him to wobble on the edge. So when people wobble, they're typically leaning forward. So let's get rid of his nose. Move his head slightly forward. I'm going to just get that black. I'm just going to go up there. And I'm going to get rid of that hand for now. In fact, let's get rid of all the legs. And we can redraw it in. So I want him to be leaning forward. There. And then his back leg will be kind of flailing out. Well, that kind of looks like a hand. Well, his hands will be out to break his fall. So I can put them both into the front there. And then we can put his other leg there. That's okay for a first pose, I think. Color all that in yellow. Yellow. And then for the hand and the leg that's further away, I'm going to color them darker. I think just delete that black. And then frame 2. Let's move his head back. Get rid of that hand. Move that hand back. Select the shade, pop that in there, get rid of that extra pixel. Does that look like he's wobbling? Get rid of that pixel. Duplicate. Just bring his head down and forward a bit more. I don't even know if that's working. Let's try it. Yeah, kind of. Don't hate me. It's not going to be perfect, but you get the idea. I think. Duplicate the middle one, put it on the end. Yeah, it's going to be fine for what we need it for. We can tidy it up later if you really want to. leave it at 5, leave it on looping, call it wobble, go back to the event sheet. Okay, now we need to set some conditions, because if we're not careful, we're going to basically code in conflicting statements, and Construct's not going to know which animation to play. So we've already got that if we're not pushing A or D, we're going to set it to idle. But we could also get a situation where we're stood right on the edge, we're not pushing A and D, and we want it to wobble. So we need to tell Construct what to do. So the first thing we need to do is get another one of these purple collision detectors. I'm just going to use one of the door ones. I'm going to right click and I'm going to clone it, and I'm going to just paste it up there, and I'm going to change this to collision wobble, and I just need to make it one tile big, but we do need to zoom in to get this. I'm going to pop it there, but I need to change the origin to the bottom left. Again, you can push number 1 on the number pad if you got it, or you can right click, quick assign. I'm going to pop it there. I don't want to snap to grid because I want it to be, I just want it to be in between. In fact, I didn't even need to change it. I just want it to be when he's literally right on the edge here. There. So collision wobble. That's fine. We can leave that there on the items there. That's not a problem. So if A and D are not down, let's add another condition. So you can either push C or you can right click and add another condition. And I also want to check to make sure that the sprite, which is the player, is not overlapping. So we can click overlapping and we can select collision wobble, and we can invert it like we did everything else by pushing I. So if we're not pushing D and we're not pushing A and we're not overlapping that little collision wobble, then we can idle. Copy the whole thing and paste it underneath, and then we just need to not invert that. So if we're not pushing A, we're not pushing D, and we are overlapping this, then we need to set the animation to wobble. And let's try it out. There we go. Wobble over there, walking. Oh, walk straight off the edge. There he is. He doesn't want to fall, but now he's walking away. Yeah, I think it could be a little bit more sensitive, right to the edge. Like he's wobbling here, which is not really what I want. So let's go back to layer 1. Let's make sure that, because don't forget his base goes right out to there, so he could effectively be wobbling by touching it there. I really want him to wobble if he's touching it there. So let's just pop that there, and let's see what that does. There we go. Get to the end. He's stood there fine. Just wants to take a little look over the side. Oh, be careful. Oh, no, be careful. But it's okay. If I, whoop, this thing is deadly. Okay, that works. Now, all we need to do is just pop this, hold down Control or Command, and just drag out copies. And we're just going to put them on all the edges. There. Or we could just put it on the edges where there's a bit of a dangerous drop. Like this one. Just to warn the player that if you keep going, you're going to fall. There, and there. There. And there. There. And there. There. And there. 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 And there. We could introduce fall damage. So So if he falls from a certain height, I think we will. I think that'll be quite nice. If he falls from a certain height, then he's going to get hurt. As we're doing these wobbles, we're signifying that there's danger in falling. So why not just make it so that if he falls from a certain height, he gets hurt, which we will do. We have to fine-tune some of these later, but get the idea. There we go. Done. Right, now we're going to add in the fall damage. This is a really quick, easy little trick that adds quite a nice little bit of polish. So click on the player. We're going to need to add an instance variable to this fella. So click on Instant Variables, add new instance variable, and we're going to call this fall timer, number 0, that's fine, and just leave it there. Then we're going to go into the event sheet. We're probably going to put it under player death because it's when he's getting hurt. So player death. So we're going to need to do an every tick. So system every tick. And then we're going to add a condition to that. So every tick, but only every tick if sprite player is falling. So only if he's falling, every tick. I want the sprite, the variable that we just created. So we scroll down. I want to subtract from it. I want to subtract from that. No, we don't. We want to add to it. 1. But sorry, it's not every tick. It's every X seconds, which is going to be every 0.2 seconds. So every 0.2 seconds, if he's falling, we're going to add 1 to the fall timer. Let's go back into the level. Just so we can see how this works, I'm just going to create a debug text. So click text, click anywhere, text underscore debug, and I'm just going to change this to show us what we need to see when we when we're playing. I'm going to set it to 0. But what I want this to display is the variable, the fall timer variable, so I can see how long it takes to fall off of a ledge. So we're going to go back into the event sheet. We're going to say system every tick, and I want to set the debug text. I want to set it to show the player's variable. So you can start typing in SPR underscore player dot and then the variable, which is fall timer. So we're going to show the sprite player's fall timer in that text every tick of the game. So if we play it now, when we fall, so as long as we're falling, that number's going to go up. See, so it took us 2. That's nice. Yeah, so it takes 2, not 2 seconds, but 0.2 seconds worth of fall time to fall off there. And I think that's probably a good enough height to get fall damage. So anything above that sort of height, anything below that, I think he can sustain a fall, which would be fine. You'll notice that the number doesn't go down, it just stays there. So we need to reset that every time he hits the ground. So we're going to add an event to player death, and we're going to say sprites player, and we're going to go to on landed here in the triggers. So when he lands, we're going to just reset that timer. So we're going to go sprite player, and we're going to set the value of the fall timer to 0. So when he lands, it's going to go back to 0 again. Now we need to set up the condition that does damage if the fall timer is equal to 2 or more. So we're going to add an event to player death, and we're going to compare it. So we're going to go sprites player. We're going to compare the instance variable fall timer. So if it's greater than 1, so 2 or more effectively, okay, sorry, we need to put that, I'm ahead of myself. So when he lands, if the fall timer is greater than 1, we can set the timer back to 0, and we can go to system, subtract from health 1. And then that's going to trigger the flashing. No, it's not. We're going to, yeah, we need to put that flashing in. Could set up a function for that, I guess, when he gets hurt, like a player hurt function that we can call. But there's not too much code to put in, so I'm happy just putting that in there just for the sake of this tutorial. So if he lands and the fall timer is 1 or more, we're going to subtract 1 from health. We're going to make him flash to signify that he's been hurt. We can put a sound effect in there to signify that when we do the sound. Copy the whole thing. If the fall timer is less than or equal to 1, so basically 1 or less, that's 2 or more, then we don't need to subtract 1 from health. We don't need it to flash, but we still want to set the timer back to 0. So now if we go and play it, when he falls off of here, he flashes. But when he falls off of here, no. Okay, so we got hit there, but he didn't get hit there. It's because I got shot by the bullet. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like it because he's jumping and then falling. So he got hurt just falling down there. So if I jump and I get hit, yeah, I'm not sure, because if I jump, I don't feel like I should. That enemy is really annoying. I'm not sure. What do we think? Leave me a comment. Tell me. Ugh. If I jump off there and miss a platform, yeah, he gets hurt. That's understandable. But if I fall off there, I get hurt. But yeah, I shouldn't get hurt just falling off of there. Maybe we need to be a bit more lenient with the times. So maybe if it's above 2, he's going to be okay. Or he's not going to be okay, but if it's 2 or less, then he will be. Maybe we're just being too harsh with the amount of fall damage this fella can take. So that was okay. That was alright. Ugh. Get off of that. Yeah, that's better. So if he falls from a great height, then he's going to get hurt. Otherwise, he's going to be fine. What we need to do now is add in the jump animation. So when he's jumping, we're going to play a different animation altogether. So go in, let's select the wobble animation, duplicate it, jump, go down, delete that. I kind of like that frame for maybe a jump. Get rid of that one. Or maybe that one. That could be okay. Although, I think maybe just one hand forward and one hand backwards. Probably is better. Put that up there. Get that. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Put that one in, that frame. Go back to the event sheet, back to player controls. On keyboard, press signify jump. So we just need to play that animation if he's jumping. So add an event to player controls, sprites in the player, and then we just need to go down and say is jumping. And then if he's jumping, we can go to the player again. Set the animation to jump. We've got the 4 animations in there. So now when he jumps, he plays something different. There we go. Yeah, that's okay. And then I fall damage. Yeah, and then I fall in the water. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to leave it there. Guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Next one's going to be menus. So we're going to do an end of level, you win this level screen. We're going to do a menu, a title menu, which will be fun. So a way to get into the game. And then we'll see how much time we got left. If we've got more time, maybe we'll put a couple of extra levels in, but there's not too much more to do. Thanks for following along. If you've got this far, I do ramble sometimes, so I appreciate your patience. If you found anything useful today, it would really help me out if you could leave a thumbs up or a comment. And if you want to see more of this type of content, I will be doing more tutorials in the future on all manner of games. We can do shooters, side-scrolling, beat 'em ups, whatever we want to do. But I will be doing a lot more tutorials. So if you want to see more of that stuff, then by all means, hit the subscribe. See you later. Bye-bye.